The basic principle of Zen meditation is defined as the art of nothingness. And so what it basically does is allows you to be completely in the present moment. And that is free of distraction, free of what they call monkey mind, the left hemisphere getting busy, weighing itself down with expectation energy, performance anxiety, emotional attachment, things like that. So I'm going to give you a really cool demonstration. I'll show you how this works. Now there's a thing called Magic Eye. I'll go to the website, magiceye.com. And in Magic Eye, this used to be extremely popular. It was syndicated on comic books and in the comic strips on Sunday paper. And what this is kind of like a stereo viewer. It's really interesting because you look at it, but you actually look past it so that you can see your left and right eyes kind of meld two patterns together, and then they sync. They literally sync and then create a third-dimensional latent image. It's really, really fun, but I want to show you how this mimics the frustration of that one gets when they're trying to do something like Hemisync, or they're trying to achieve something like shift. If you look at this image here and you look past it, what happens is you will see magically a peace symbol form. And now I am in. I see a floating peace sign that is over the psychedelic background. So those of you who have found their way in, I'll show you with my arrow. My arrow is going to trace the circle. And I'm going to go all around the perimeter of the circle. I'm going to go down. Right here is the center. Now I am in. Notice how my eyes are. Notice how my breathing is. I'm completely inside the hologram. And seeing how it kind of floats over, and it's like a very ropey pattern. When I move my head back and forth, it's like the peace symbol shifts. Now, a couple of things that you'll notice about the Magic Eye is, one, when we used to have some get-togethers, and there was a book called The Magic Eye, and we'd kind of pass it around, and people would look at it, and I'd say, if you stare at it long enough, you'll see the peace sign. So a few things happen when you present this to people. If they are expectation driven, they'll want to see the result fast. They'll want to get there. And the interesting thing is, those of you who know how to get there will find that you can't just get there. It'll magically appear, which is why it's called the Magic Eye. You have to just literally stare at it, keep relaxing your eyes until they just drift off into infinity, and then all of a sudden the peace symbol will appear. And once you get good at this, you'll be able to go through all the different ones. Ooh, this one's called financial vision. Okay, so I'm just going to go past it. And there it is. There's the dollar sign. Those of you who are in, this is the top of it. But when you are in, and you're actually able to see stereophonic vision, then you can see the hologram, which goes right back to the CIA document about how we can see out-of-body experiences, time travel, have dimension visits to other dimensions simply by observing the hologram. This is described in the document. Now, a characteristic of this is, if I went to this and said, hey, I want to learn how to shift, I'm not seeing it. Okay, that's called expectation energy, and that will not work when you're trying to become a flatter vibration, which they call tapping out, and actually start to receive information. Those of you who know how to do the Magic Eye, you'll notice that you never know when it's going to appear. You just be there, and then you just wait, and then it'll appear. You'll also notice that you can't be impatient. You can't have distractions like music or other things. You can't have a busy mind. You have to clear the deck and literally just go, I'm going to do nothing but, there it is. That's as close as I can come to explaining how Zen meditation works, how hemi-syncing works, how holographic viewing works, is simply through the Magic Eye. Because what happens in Zen meditation is called the art of nothingness. And I had to take the course because I went to a karate school, and the sensei asked me why I wanted to go to his school, and I said, well, because your style of Zen-Doru karate wins all the tournaments. When you put your legs in full lotus position, you become very, very rigid. It's like you're a pyramid. And what's amazing about that is that your your tailbone actually grounds to the ground. And then when you sit extremely rigid, then everything that comes in through your crown chakra passes right through the tailbone and all the way down through. Meanwhile, this hand right here that goes underneath your navel focuses that the breathing is to fill that space below the navel. And that's a very, very important part of Zen meditation, is to breathe deeply into the diaphragm, or what they call the Buddha belly. And those of you who have seen statues of Buddha in like an Oriental market store, something like that, you'll notice it's a big, fat, bald Chinese guy. He's got his hands in the air, so these huge earlobes. He's got this massive belly, and sometimes when you go to these stores, they'll say, rub Buddha's belly for good luck. The thing about what Buddha taught, and what you'll notice when you start to actually think about it, is that when you are relaxed or trying to be non-emotional, you'll find that your belly is extremely relaxed. When you get tense, your breathing goes up high in your chest and it goes shallower, much more shallow. Whenever I feel anxiety or tension, the first thing I do is I go, fill that Buddha belly, and then you wind up feeling much, much better, much less reactional, much less emotional. So Zen meditation puts you in that state where it's impossible for you to feel emotional. And what happens in Zen is that it's called the art of nothingness, and what you're doing is you're literally thinking of nothing, because the thinking, the logical part of the brain, is the left hemisphere. What we do is when we turn off expectation energy, when we turn off anxiety or trying to achieve something, then these things magically appear. And that's what happens in synchronicity. That's what's happened in my business career life. And society teaches you to not behave like that. Society teaches you to constantly get the result. Be the first guy in the class to be able to see that. It's all about competition. It's all about, expectation energy. And all of that goes away in a meditative practice. In yoga, there's no judgment, there's no expectation energy, and everything like that. So when we suck our belly in, it actually makes us tense. That's why Buddha's so happy. The Buddha belly, and what is displayed in that pose in the statue is called Satori, or enlightenment, like light, the light goes on the inside. And that's basically the practice of Zen meditation. And you see his face is just completely full of joy. That's called Satori. And that's the goal of Zen meditation. So this thing about hemisyncing and shifting and wanting to go see and be with the Hogwarts and everything like that, get into the practice in the CIA document. It's called tapping out, where your wavelengths get so low that they actually go flat, like the nature of the universe. And when you get there, then you'll be able to see the holograms, you'll be able to download the Akashic records, you'll be able to see the ripple effects of the universe, past, present, future, other dimensions, without having to try. And so, try not to make that a goal of trying to be somewhere else, or parallel shift, or whatever. Try to not have a goal in anything. And then just mindfully be in the moment. And go through this magic eye, and you'll find that you'll learn quite a bit. You'll actually be in that state of kind of close to hemisyncing, because you'll turn off your left hemisphere, your right hemisphere, and this does nothing to the pineal gland. Oh, by the way, a number of people were asking me, why does the CIA document have a missing page? When I look through it contextually, and this is one of my criticisms about the document too, was one that it relied heavily on the listening of monaural, binaural beats to achieve hemisyncing. That does not work, because if it did work, you'd have army soldiers everywhere being able to hemisync and do a lot of damage. That doesn't work, because anything that comes in through the five senses is not made to do anything but protect our three-dimensional body. The eyes protect us from falling boulders. The ears protect us from gunfire nearby. The nose protects us from forest fire. And so, and so on and so on. That's all the five senses are for. To think that the five senses are going to give us awareness about why we exist, or what's our purpose, or what are we here to learn, that's completely, it's a little bit foolish, because you cannot hear a dog whistle. You cannot hear below 20 hertz or over 20,000 hertz. You cannot see the infrared. You cannot see the ultraviolet. So there's a lot that you can't see. You certainly can't see with your eyeballs other dimensions or parallel universes, or have out-of-body experiences. All of these things happen through the pineal gland, which is probably the reason why it's excluded from the document.